Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Hey, happy Tuesday?
We don't even know.
Are we Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday! Welcome to the social. You know, around the holidays, I don't know which way is up most days, but anyway, we are very excited to welcome back to the panel former professional football player, Grey Cup champion, and media personality, Enoch Mwamba is back. All right, we are here. Our finance minister, as you know, has resigned. We are facing devastating tariff threats, ongoing insults from south of the border, and increasing calls for the Prime Minister to resign. We are in a kind of uncharted territories for Canada in many ways, but what worries you the most right now about our current political situation, if anything?
Listen, I'm going to be honest. I love drama. if you're just tuning in and you don't know me, I love drama, but I don't like it in my politics. And I have admitted many times that I follow American politics embarrassingly as a Canadian more than I follow our own politics, mainly because they just always have some kind of craziness going on. Whether it's an intern with a dirty dress, or they're lying about, weapons of mass destruction, or an insurrection, there's always something going on. And I'm realizing with what's going on right now, the reason why I enjoyed it because I knew and felt very safe that it was happening over there. And I love that our politics is boring and we don't have any unpredictable, wacky characters in our politics, and I love that. And I think it's the reason why a lot of us have, and a lot of our parents have moved to this country because of that stability.
Yeah.
And this feels very uncertain. I don't know about anybody else, but I feel like I don't know what the next step is gonna be. And I know that there's a mounting amount of dislike for our current Prime Minister, and I know that's happening, and I know that there's going to be a shift. I just wasn't expecting it to happen in this way. So I feel very much like the ground is moving underneath me and I don't like it, and it's very uncommon for us Canadians. So I'm feeling a little uncertain and anxious, to be very honest.
Nicely said, nicely said.
Listen, I don't like the rising prices that we have in grocery stores and gases and all that. But at the end of the day, for me, especially coming from a team background and playing professional sports for so long, to me, it comes down to leadership, right? It comes down to, it's a classic case of broken washing machine, and now we're airing out dirty laundry. Right? We're airing out dirty laundry, and I know that great leaders, great teams, you really have to show a united front. We talk about this with my wife all the time. That's a whole nother story for another day, because I have to remind her that, hey, look, the kids are the enemy. Look, we are a team. We gotta show the united front.
It doesn't feel like they're in a united front.
Absolutely. And it's almost like this was a deliberate message to do, to make a move like this at this particular time.
You mean from the finance minister?
Absolutely. And so, it's not something that you want to see, to your point, Andrea.
So as a team player, and I do believe that Justin Trudeau loves this country, but as a team player right now, is the right thing to do to step down? Because I heard a podcast this morning with a journalist, Stephen Marr, and he just wrote a book on Trudeau, and he said one of his defining characteristics, Trudeau that is his confidence. And his confidence has done so much. Like, we'd be so lucky if we all had that level of confidence. But what it seems to be shifting right now is the confidence is getting in the way of him being an effective leader. It's almost morphing into like a blindness, maybe even a touch of arrogance. Do you know what I mean? And it's a tough thing to do.
I have a different take on it. I get that take on it as well. And I think, listen, no government has lasted beyond 10 years in this country.
True.
So time's up. It doesn't matter what party. If you're conservative, if you're liberal, 10 years is the max that any party has led in succession in this country. So we're done. I think a lot of us understand that. My take is, it's the analogy of a sinking ship. And what is a captain's motto? You go down with your ship.
Okay.
And that's not arrogance. That is, I am the leader and I am responsible. Come heck or high water, I'm gonna be the last one standing here. And so while some people might look at it as arrogance, I look at it as, or would you just desert the people who are left there?
You're saying you're against the resignation.
I don't know if I'm against it. I think to your point, Andrea, this is turmoil that we've never seen before. This is a bit uncharted. Do I think that I want to know or accept what's next? To me, it's about values. What leader is going to represent my values to get us through the time that we're in now, which is a bleep show? And also, we have tariffs on the horizon. We have a 4-year Trump presidency on the horizon, and I want women's rights to be kept in place. I want LGBTQ rights to be left in place. I want people to be able to afford to eat. Which leader is going to get us there?
I love your analogy of the captain going down with the ship, but what concerns me is that the very talented people who Trudeau had the confidence and the intelligence to tap to be on his team, they're leaving him in droves.
Yeah, the rats are leaving the ship.
The rats are leaving. Well, the nice rats. They're nice rats. They're talented rats. But they're leaving the ship. And so that, for me, is just so telling. Those people that know much more about politics than we do.
That's the uncertainty that I'm talking about.
He can't keep a finance minister.
We've never seen this before, and I'm like, wait a second, this isn't what we do. What's happening here? And I feel like we're all kind of waiting for the next step, and we're not sure. It's not like we're having an election. We know what's going to happen next.
And these are the things that we're just seeing right now. I'm wondering, what are the conversations that we're not hearing behind closed doors?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit alarming, I would say. For sure.
How about I change the subject?
Yes.
Okay. To another piece of very big news. Very big news. Your partner is not invited to your office holiday party. Got it? At least the Wall Street Journal advises that. They write that in corporate America, the tradition of bringing a +1 to the company bash is fading. So would you bring your spouse or want to bring your spouse to a holiday party?
I'm a little concerned because I'm hearing a little bit too much cheering from the crowd. But I'm bringing my wife everywhere. If I got a meeting, if I got a holiday party, I'm definitely bringing my wife.
I just met her backstage and I know why.
She absolutely is. But I also have like a social battery that runs out after a certain while, and I just bring my wife so she can also entertain the other people. But at the end of the day, absolutely.
Is that a football term?
Look at you talking about sports.
Look at me. I have no idea what that meant.
At the end of the day, though, to me, this is every company wants to have these team bonding exercises and activities. This is the perfect opportunity to do that because you get to learn and from your colleagues from a different perspective. You get to know who they're with and how they think and how they talk and everything like that. I think it's a different perspective that you get to learn about your colleague. And the more you learn about your colleague from that perspective, I don't like the look you're giving me right now. But the more you learn about your colleagues from that perspective, guess what? More will get accomplished the closer and the more connection you have with the people around you. Yes.
Before I go in on you, let me just say, I know your wife, she's lovely. I like her. I'd take her everywhere, too, if she was my wife. But let me just tell you why I don't like it. It's for two reasons. First of all, I think holiday parties are for the people who work together, for you to blow out some steam, have a good time, talk shop a little bit, and talk to people in departments that you normally don't get to talk to. And that's what I think the holiday party is for, and also to give out awards and all kinds of stuff that happens. Now, when you bring a date, two things are going to happen. Either you're going to have to babysit your date because they don't know any of these people you work with, so you're going to have to go, oh, that's Tom from accounting. He's really funny. Or you're going to leave your date on their own like you just admitted that you do, and this person's going to have to be really good at socializing with strangers all night. Like, hi, I'm such and such. I came with such and such. And now it's a night of having conversations with strangers you don't know.
It just sounds exhausting.
And as a professional +1, I'll tell you, I don't like either one. Go and have a good time with your employees. I don't know these people. I don't care about Tom in accounting. Go and do your thing. I'll see you later.
You absolutely have to bring your partner with you.
Why?
Again,
I love that he's sticking to it.
You want to have the different angles that you would never have when you're talking with Tom from a... No, not at all. It's a different perspective. I feel like partners would actually have different appearances. And then also, let's talk about this. Because when you talk about work culture and work wives, and what are you hiding? Why are you not bringing your partner? What is there to hide?
Wait a second.
We have to address this, Andrea.
Wait. We never mentioned the word hiding.
Well, then what's
These
wrong
are the
with
people
bringing
that you're
them?
with all the time and you're always working. So I'm saying I want you to have that freedom to chit-chat with everybody because you're going to know everybody in the room.
So
take your moment.
Can I bring up the elephant in the room?
Let's hear
Do you
about it.
really think your partners want to be the +1? Because I don't think that they want to.
Thank you,
You're
Jess.
just describing a night of a lot of work for your
Thank you,
wife.
Jess.
Like having to make small talk and do all this stuff for people that she's going to see like twice a year.
Well, my wife, Jess, it's about the balance, right? I talk, then she talks.
Would you want to go to hers?
I absolutely do go.
Really?
I show up and I shake hands and I smile and I hug
I would bring you to the middle and then
everything.
abandon you and be like, hello, see you later.
Then I talk for as long as I can, and then when I'm done, I'm done.
I would put that to the test, my friend.
Wow.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds knows his kids live a life of luxury. He told The Hollywood Reporter that while he and Blake Lively grew up working class, he doesn't believe his children need to carry the same burdens that they did. Now, Enoch, do you think kids today should grow up the way that their parents did? Ooh, it's a loaded question.
I don't think you have to necessarily bear the burden of your parents' upbringing necessarily, but as a parent, it is tough. It is hard, but there's a lot of conversations that you need to have in order to, teach certain lessons to your children. And the greatest teacher is adversity, in my opinion. And if your child is living a life of luxury, like Ryan Reynolds, well, it's I have this conversation all the time with one of my really good friends, Marcellus. He always says, we gotta figure out ways to manufacture adversity, challenges. How do we do that? And that's what we gotta do. And as parents, that's your job. It's your responsibility to get your child to start to think outside of themselves. Do you expose them to certain things? Well, different abilities, different people who are from different places and different levels of economic status and whatnot. And so that is a challenge for the parent. Every child is born with a different level of empathy. And it's not a mistake or it's not their fault if they have lower levels of empathy, but it's your job as a parent to challenge them to raise that level of empathy.
Oh, I love
really
everything you said. It's so hard because we are also up against the parenting theme, at least for parents. Like my daughter's 10, I think your kids are a little younger, around the same age, is we are also, at least for me, I'm the child of immigrants. And so immigrants' lifestyles, it was hard. You come here without a lot. It was just a lifestyle of austerity. You had to earn every dollar. You never got handed anything for free. You got to take care of yourself, all of those things. And now, my generation, your generation of parenting, we are called not helicopter parents. We're called lawnmower parents. The way that we actually mow all obstacles out of our children's way, which I think is a reaction to the way that we were raised, right? So we're the generation that's like, we were spanked, we're okay. We had to feed ourselves some days, that we're okay. But I think that that's the challenge for me, is how do you make things, how do you challenge your children? And I actually think it has nothing to do with money. I think it has everything to do with you never do for your child what they can do for themselves. And that doesn't take, whether you're rich or poor, make them do things that they can do for themselves.
I think I agree. Don't you guys think the objective of most parents, no matter where they live or when they live, is sort of to make sure that their kids have a better life than they did? It seems to be like an ongoing thing among parents. And I also think it's the parents' right to remind their kids that when they were their age, they only had one pair of shoes. And when the sole had holes in it, you're looking at me. When the sole had holes in it, they traced it on a piece of newspaper. So one mom tells me about once a year.
Wow, that's really poor.
And so it's like that's really poor.
I never heard that one before. I'm listening, though. I'm listening.
Even in the winter, Andrew.
I was like, wow, newspaper.
Soul's newspaper. But I do think, so it's like balancing that line. Like a parent wants to make sure their kid's life is better than theirs. But to remind them, in my day, you know what I mean?
I might say something that's going to ruffle some feathers, but there's something that I've seen. Relax, Enoch, it's not you. You're gonna get it this time.
I'm just ready for anything, Andrew.
There's something that I've seen in my circle of friends and family, and I think the issue here is parents, before you become a parent, you have to work on your childhood trauma. Because what I have witnessed through my friends and family is that they will have a trauma for them, maybe not having the coolest shoes or the way that their parents used to discipline them with a belt or whatever it is, and they don't work on that trauma, and then they have kids, and their answer to them is to do the complete opposite of every single thing that their parents did. So then you have a lot of parents, and I see that with my friends, doing the complete opposite, but it's not servicing the child. So you have say for example, I have one relative who was really his father came down really hard on him. So with his sons, he's so hands-off with his children that his sons also don't listen to him. All right?
They run the roost.
No discipline.
Exactly. I have another friend who wanted to become a professional athlete, didn't like the way his father was coaching him, so then he made it his mission to coach his kid in the way that he wished his dad coached. But that kid just doesn't have it. That kid is not a professional athlete. So I think people need to work on themselves first and then find that balance of how you need to parent your kids. Because I'm sure it's hard. If you make $25 million a movie, how do you tell your kids, no, you can't have it?
Yeah, that's, you know what, that's a very practical point. But I love that Ryan said, his kids still exist in this world with gratitude and empathy, and I think that's the goal of everyone, right?
That's great.
Okay, let's go on to gratitude and empathy with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Because they have come out with a Christmas card with a rare photo of their kids. If you squint, you can see Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet running towards their parents. And their faces are hidden, of course, by the camera. So are you into holiday cards, or should holiday cards like this, we've all seen them, we've all received them, should they be a thing of the past? What do we think?
What do you guys think?
Ooh.
You like them?
You like them?
We do like them.
They like.
I don't know if there's a generational divide, because my mom is still the generation that handwrites cards and mails them. And so I feel like this is an offshoot of that tradition, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
You don't like them?
No, here's the thing. I say I don't like it even though I did it, okay? So for several years, especially when Marquesa was younger, we did this, so I'm speaking like a total hypocrite. Let me just call myself out. We did this, but we sent it especially to overseas family, the people that we don't see a lot of, and they don't get to see Marquesa growing up, for example. So we did a lot of great photo shoots. We put them on cards. Now when I receive them, which I love, they're so sweet. I look at them, I'm like, oh my God, your family is so beautiful. Recycling box. I don't know what to do with them. They're gorgeous. I don't know what to do with them. I have one of those fridges that nothing magnetic sticks to it. I don't know where to go.
They
I don't
make
know what
a
they do.
fridge like that?
Yes. So in any case, I love it, but especially when your kids are grown and I see them on Instagram anyway, do I have to see it in a card? Call me instead.
Listen, I know without asking that, Enoch, you do the Christmas card thing every year with your family.
Why you gotta, what? How did we get here? But I believe in them. We have this conversation quite a bit at home. My wife is a minimalist, and I'm a little bit kind of a hoarder. And so I do believe in the value in handwriting. I do believe in the value of giving something sentimental. There's so much value in that. But the only caveat to me with that is it has to be unique to the person. I don't want to see it all over social media after you send me this picture and you kind of give it to everybody. I want it to be personalized.
Don't you feel like somewhere along the way, these holiday cards, including the Sussex, it's very beautiful, but it's just so polished. It's just so perfect. I urge everyone this year to consider using the outtakes. The photos that wouldn't necessarily make the cut. I think invoking like a little humor.
Yeah.
Giving something unique.
Instead of showing your perfection.
Use it. Yeah.
Also,
the outtakes, closed eyes, you know, and someone falling down.
The reality of your life. The reality of your life. I think it's very interesting that people only put out those cards when they get married and have children. And I'm like, I want to start a trend where it's like single, married, divorced, you only got a cat, you have 10 cats, you have a dog. Get your own Christmas card. Where are your Christmas cards? I'm gonna lay across Santa's sleigh with just a hat on. Next year, look for it in your inbox. You're welcome, everybody.
Is that a promise?
I was gonna ask for one, but Andrea, you know what? Well, you can skip me this year.
Oh no, I'm hand delivering yours, Enoch.
We're back with a very hot etiquette debate for you. So a woman wrote to the Skim saying that there's always someone having a conversation with their phone on speaker in the cafe that they work from, and she's wondering, is there a polite way to ask them to use headphones instead? Okay, Jess, would this bother you? And if so, how would you handle it?
Oh my God, it doesn't only bother me, I'm in awe of it. Like to have the audacity to do that. It's just not within my ability, like in a shared public space. So whenever it does happen, I'm just like, oh my God, you're doing it. And I haven't done this, but here's my solution. Not asking them to use headphones, but to carry around extra headphones. You know, you get them on an airplane. They're really cheap. You can get them from a dollar store, and to be just very polite. So you're listening to music in a cafe, in a public shared space. And I would just be like, excuse me, did you forget yours? I have a pair if you want them. And just be really friendly, non-confrontational. No, you can have them.
Okay.
No, you can have them.
You're better than me, Jess. One of my things is I'm non-confrontational. So, but one thing I am really good at.
You don't have to be.
One thing.
Stand up and go, you're gonna turn that?
I can't just intimidate everybody walking around, Andrea. But one of the things that I'm really good at is nonverbal communication. I will give you the look. I will give you the double look. I'll give you a little cough. You know, and
Can you do it to that camera?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's good to do this after COVID and everything, but
We're doing it.
You gotta find a way to kind of send the message. It's tough when the person doesn't know how to take hints. That's a hard situation, but also, it also depends on what I'm doing. I'll take on a lot of things and I'll probably just allow it to happen. But if I'm in a library, if I'm in a place where if I'm supposed to be quiet and we're supposed to all focus on a particular thing, and you're actually disturbing me, now your freedom is interfering with my freedom. So now I'd probably say something.
You know what? For the first time on this show, we're gonna agree. And I'm gonna agree with you because I think there are certain public spaces that it is obvious. Like, I was a page in a library, that was my first job. A library is a place where you are to be quiet, so everybody understands that. But if I am in a coffee shop and you've decided that you want to turn the local coffee shop into your personal office, I'm sorry, my friend. As much as I'm not a fan of the FaceTime loud conversations, you're in a public space, which means whether it's 4 teenagers who are talking at the loudest decibel possible, or someone talking to their family back home and they're screaming like the phone doesn't have a speaker, it's the public, and if you don't like it and you're working and you've chosen to work, because it's not like you're just there to have a coffee.
But
it's not your personal space.
We talked about the erosion of sort of civil discourse, of societal grace and niceties, and you spoke very eloquently about that. Don't you see this as part of that problem?
No, because it's a public space, and you know what? I live in a big city, and there's certain things I just have to accept, that it's going to be loud. People are going to sit next to me, too close to me. They're going to stand too close to me, and if I'm in a public space, I cannot turn this coffee shop that is a public domain into my personal office and expect everybody to be at a level that I want them to be at. If I don't like it, I gotta find my own private space and go to a library.
So I guess the question is how to say it. So we ride the GO train in, and if anybody rides the GO train in Ontario, the upper level is the quiet zone. This is a public service announcement. If you didn't know, the top level is the quiet zone. You want to have a call, go downstairs. And I, as a firstborn girl, take it upon myself to be the world's police. And therefore, if I'm on the quiet zone up here and you are loudly talking, I will happily enforce the rule. Now, how do I say it? That's the etiquette, which is, I know your call's really important, but it's the quiet zone. Would you mind moving your call downstairs?
That's nice.
Very tactical. I need to take some notes on that, no?
If you're in the quiet zone, I totally agree. But if you're not in the quiet zone, then what?
Maybe I'll
Then
move myself
society's
first.
just gonna fall apart because everyone can do everything they want at any given time in any public space.
Have you been there? Have you walked the streets of this city? People are doing whatever they want.
Niceties, social niceties.
What if you're talking in a loud voice and talking to the person that's next to you and really having a conversation with the person that's next to you?
I come from a culture where people don't know they're being loud. Their loud is normal to them. It's loud to everybody else. Your loud is not my loud.
But I bet it's something you wouldn't do.
My dad whispered like this, yes, listen, I have a secret to tell you. And I'd be like, that's not a whisper,
And
sir.
he could do that in a coffee shop. That would be beautiful. But I guarantee you, you're not the type of person.
I get up and leave.
I'd say, hey, Jess, I wish people were a little quieter on this place, right?
And then I'd be like this, can you believe this football player from the front audience trying to get me to be quiet?
And then they have the audacity to say it on the phone. Can you believe that, Jess?
Enoch, listen, I hope you make time to come back and visit us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it here. I love it here.
That was fun.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.